Hey, 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 this is your recap Aunty with episode number 72 recap of Beyond the Gates. But before we get started, y'all already know we sitting on the front porch, sipping our tea, drinking our mimosas, and having a good time gossiping, honey, about these old crazy ass characters on Beyond the Gates. So, our first comment comes from Jeremy. Hey, Jeremy, baby, welcome back. Jeremy Bierman, 7808. He says, I like Kat, but she's single handedly ruining the case against Dana Leslie. When they find out the helmet was placed there by Kat, the piece of evidence won't be able to be used against her. It's nice to see more Shanice. I really like her. Me too, honey. I love me some Shanice. Her real name in real life is Miss Ernestine. That's an old name, honey. That's one of them, big elbow greasing names, honey. No offense to people who got grandmamma's name Ernestine, but I love them old names, baby. So thank you so much, Jeremy. We have my girl next to next gossip in sweet tea. It's from Miss Raquel. Hey, Raquel Batson 3260. She says, I loved the scene with Danny and Nicole. You have to get that anger out, right, girl? Nicole needs a rage room. She was working that white pantsuit. Girl, wasn't she, honey? That thing had the back out in the back, and I'm so happy that she was able to get all of that shit out. Danny know what she talking about. They be thinking that Danny is unhinged, but that baby got some wisdom. Sometimes you got to go through shit to help people go through their shit, unfortunately. But she really helped her sissy, and they did do that. All right, we got Cynthia Judkins, 2250. She said, I got my tea and I'm ready. Cynthia, girl, you crack me up, honey. You crack me up. All right, her next statement, she said, child, Shanice got the whip out already. She do, don't she? I think at the end, damn, Bill gonna like her because he liked the women that give him all that attention and who rough on his ass like Danny was. He don't like that whole sweet old, type of bullshit. He like them women that can really tie him up. Remember, Danny did say that she used the damn whip on him one time. Anyway, we've got Miss Crystal Waters. Hey, Crystal Waters 4426. She says, so what can Eva do about knowing someone took the evidence out of her room? She can't go to the police and tell them that the evidence she stole from her mammy was then stolen from her. Girl, let it go, girl. Right? It's like she can't say that, maybe I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know how she can do that to prove or say that, okay, my mama used this to kill that girl, attempt to kill that girl, but I was doing it to protect. I don't know, honey, but whatever it is, they're going to figure it out. And we have Cynthia Judkins again. She's the 2250. She says, thanks for the tea about Mrs. Mona. I still listen to MC Hammer. Girl, MC Hammer was the bomb. When I used to see that man on that dance, it was like a aerobics, a whole aerobics set, honey. He would be on it, honey. And I loved it. I used to love it. Cynthia also says, yes, that part about the pantsuit that Nicole had on was fire, fire, fire. Girl, that pantsuit was noise, right? She also says, Cynthia says, here Leslie go again using Eva to find out how the helmet and the gloves got back into her apartment. Shaking my head. Right. It's like, y'all know that it was Kat, but like she said, I'm just trying to figure out how you get into my room. That's what I need to figure out. And believe it, Eva is going to figure that shit out. We got Rhonda. Is that Rhonda? Yeah, Rhonda's shaking my head. 1879. She says, here what's going to happen. Okay, tell us, Rhonda, what's going to happen. The police are going to do testing on Eva and Leslie. Okay. Only to find out that they aren't even related. Okay. That's the plot twist. Leslie is not that girl's mammy. Girl, I've been saying that the whole time. Either I believe that Leslie stole, I think that Nicole was pregnant with twins and didn't know it, and she gave birth to two girls, and Leslie took Eva and raised her, or because they were dealing with those in vitro fertilization and them frozen eggs, honey. I think Leslie, whoever her contact is, went in there and she stole one of them eggs so she can have Ted with her forever. So she stole one of them eggs, had that shit implanted in her. She used the money that Bill paid her to move and get away, and she was actually pregnant. I think that she was pregnant, but it wasn't her egg. It was actually Nicole's egg, and it was Ted's sperm that she was able to grow that baby. That's what I feel. She probably saved some of Ted's sperm in a plastic bag or a turkey baster. You never know with that crazy bitch. But yeah, I believe you, girl. I really believe that's what's going to happen. Okay, we got Raquel again. She says, Kat needs to stop. Leslie is going to get away with everything. Kat thinks that she knows it all, but she is single-heartedly ruining this whole damn investigation. Jacob needs to get a restraining order to keep her out of that case. That is so true, honey. And we see that Cynthia agrees. She said, girl, I agree because she's good, but she goes about everything the wrong way, and gathering evidence, everything needs to be precise. That is so true. Y'all better be on that chit chat with each other. Yeah, I mean, I think that she's being real cocky. She's not really being smart about it. She's just so focused on being right. And sometimes just because you're right, that doesn't mean that you go about it the smart way. And she ain't doing that. She ain't doing that at all. And we have Cynthia Mabu again. She says, not a fan of Laura trying to play matchmaker to Eva and Nicole. I'm like, yeah, that is very, very true. So Crystal was like, true, but she knows Nicole really well and probably senses a sadness in her where Eva is concerned. Good that she's not pushing her towards Ted now that this is business. Laura needs to stay out of it. Yeah, I believe that too. I believe that she needs to just stay out of it. Do your job, girl. Have Eva over there every now and then to help you with that computer software because you need some help. That's what you need to be doing instead of trying to match make them. I think, a lot of people always comparing themselves on this fucking show. You got Leslie comparing herself to Nicole. You got Danny comparing herself to Haley. You got, who else? Laura comparing herself to Eva. It's like, stop comparing yourselves and just be the best you can be. Stop doing that. Y'all making all this money. Shit. Okay, y'all. Thank you so much for talking to me and sharing your wisdom, as I always love to hear what you ladies and gentlemen have to say while we sitting on this front porch, honey, enjoying ourselves before the show starts. So let's push play and look at episode number 62. I'm sorry, 72. Oh, Beyond the Gates, baby, and let's go. Well, we open up at the country club as we always do for episode number 72. Oh, and we see Kat there on the phone, honey, sipping. She's probably taking that celebratory sip because of the purse line. Then we see Eva. Eva, honey, she got a blowout. I don't know if that's her hair or not, but that thing is like Diana Ross big hair. She looking cute. Go ahead, Eva. Eva's on a mission. I feel it in my bone. So she's on the phone with someone tomorrow. Remember, we have a lot of people who are waiting for our purses. This is Kat, honey. Which one's your favorite? And she's like, oh, mine too. So while she's walking up, Eva is like, I need to talk to you. Like she was putting her fingers up to her face. Like she need to get her off the phone because I need to talk to you. So Kat still ignore her like, yeah, honey. Yeah, mine too. Great taste. Girl, she's looking at Eva. And like she's talking to the person on the phone, like, did I tell you about the family and friends discount? Just being so shady. So Eva is still standing there, like waving, like whoever's on that fucking phone, tell them goodbye, boo. Like she did the hand gesture, like bye bye, talking on the phone, hand gesture, hang them mother suckers up. Go ahead, Eva. Eva's on a mission. So Kat's like, oh, you have to go? Oh, well, I won't hold you. So I guess the person hung up. And so Kat looked at the phone, was like, oh. Bye. And they are kind of sort of dressed alike. They have like this paisley light blue ish outfit, both crop top. Like Eva is more of the, boho chic type, and of course Kat is more classy. But they are dressed alike. Like Eva has this crop yellow sweater. Kat has on this crop jean jacket. Their bottoms are like blue. So I know what y'all trying to do with us beyond the gates. I see what you're trying to do. And they both got their little hair swooped to the side with a little, something on their hair as an adornment. I see you. I see the twins. I see it. So Kat was like, what do you want, bitch? So Eva was like, you did that shit, didn't you? I know you did. So Kat was like, I'm so lost. What? And so Eva was like, cut the shit, cut the crap. She said, cut the crap, Kat. That's a mouthful, y'all. She's like, girl, I've been up all night thinking about this shit, and you're the only one with the reason to do that. I mean, I don't really know how you got into my damn hotel room, but I really think that it's really funny that Miss I'm Better Than Anybody is a common thief. Ooh, Cat was like, I am not a common anything. Ooh, Cat was like, bitch, because there is nothing that you own that I would want. If I get a certain urge to get a pair of combat boots, and she's looking down at Eva's feet. She said, honey, I don't need to come to your room. I just buy my own. So Eva was like, bitch, you say whatever you want to help you sleep at night, but you be staying trying and failing to get my mama locked up every fucking day. She said, but just so you know, bitch, Leslie Thomas is a whole storm, tornado, tsunami. And no matter how bad you really just want her to go away, she is right here until she decides that she don't want to be here no more. Cat was like a cockroach surviving the apocalypse. So Eva was like, I mean, girl, I didn't know that folks like you even knew about cockroaches, honey. She said, but yeah, mama, she is a whole survivor just like me. So I suggest that you take a page out of your big brother's book and accept the new world order bid. And she did a little wink at her. Cat has a little bit of a fear in her face. And look who we have here. We have Smitty and Martin. We ain't seen them in a good little bit, have we? Martin even got a little beard coming in there. Okay, Martin, I see you. So he's coming down the stairs. This is Martin coming down the stairs on his laptop, about to ask Smitty a question. So Smitty was on the phone, so he hung up. And so Martin actually apologized, said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize you were on the phone." So Smitty was like, "It was my editor. She looked at my assignment that I had for the internet groomers, and she loved it so much that she actually just gave me my next piece that I need to work on." Wait a minute. So he said that the assignment that he's doing is not as thrilling as the internet groomer, but he has to do a piece on a soon to be retired robbery homicide detective. Oh my God, don't tell me it's my boo. He said apparently he's a local legend. It's my baby, Marcel, baby. Marcel. Damn, when he said Marcel Malone, ooh, Martin had the look of fear all over his face. Martin. There he is. He's on the screen, y'all. Marcel. Girl, we spoke him up, didn't we, ladies? We spoke up Marcel. I know when y'all saw him, y'all thought about me. Marcel is on my TV, baby, walking on smooth into Uptown. So he's with Jacob. He said, I tell you, Marcel, I could use a drink after today. Yeah, me too. Let me come and sit between y'all. And Marcel, where you been, boo? So they talking about some guy they was chasing. And so Marcel was like, yeah, bastards like that need to be put underneath the jail. And Jacob was like, you damn right. Let me have something to drink. Look at Marcel, y'all. You can tell I'm smiling, right? Baby, we see Leslie is there taking a sip of some wine at the bar. And so Jacob was looking at her. So Marcel was like, wait a minute, nigga. Here, I thought you was a happily married man. So Jacob was like, what? Nigga, I ain't no cheater. So Marcel was like, well, you have to admit that lady right there ain't too bad on the eyes. So Jacob was like, man, that bitch is a monster. She's ruthless and she's cold-blooded. She's an opportunist. And that bitch would do anything to get her fucking way. And he wants her to be stopped. Marcel was probably thinking in his mind, ow, my kind of lady. And Marcel was like, so you figure you're the one to do it. So he was like, Jacob was like, yeah, I'm this close, nigga. I'm really this close. That bitch Leslie Thomas is guilty of fleeing the scene. I'm close to proving that after she used a motorcycle to try to kill Laura. So Marcel was like, what happened? Well, y'all, I tell y'all, I'm so happy to see him on my screen. I'm giddy. So Marcel was like, nigga, what happened? So Jacob tells him, I couldn't get the warrant to have her DNA tested. So yeah. Child, even that music they playing, it's like a Shaft type. Boom, boom, boom. Ow. Boom, 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 boom. I'm like, okay, I can see him walking in a rest. Anyway, he was like, Marcel says, suddenly Mr. By the Book is hamstrung by the system. You know, there's some ways you can get around that shit, right? So he was like, sounds like to me that you finally understand that sometimes rules do get in the fucking way. So Jacob was like, I ain't against the rules. I just want to make sure that justice is being done. That's all. So he was like, yeah, that Peterson case has been cold for quite a while. This is what my boo said. He said, Marcel, he said, but I bet you wouldn't be so eager to heat it up if the number one suspect hadn't got on the wrong side of your wife's family. And while he's saying that, Leslie's looking over her shoulder, with them cheekbones, honey, and her off the shoulder, looking at them both like, y'all want this? He was like, yes, I would, because based on everything that I damn uncovered, Leslie Thomas is a threat to public society. And while he's saying that, she knows she does her little wave fingers like, hey, handsome. Hi. All right, Cynthia. Leslie is right there on the screen. She's right after Derek, I think. So she was on the screen today. I don't know why they flipped, they changed people. So yeah, I think they just rotate everybody. They don't have time to show everybody, honey, because the beginning scene alone, if they showed everybody, it'll be an hour long because everybody got to do their turn and they little diabolical smile in the camera. So today, episode 72, they did show Leslie little thing in the beginning. So yeah, you got me watching this. Normally I'd be fast forwarding, but yeah, girl, she's there. Child, we back at Garland Memorial, honey, and damn, Ashley is there, and guess who's there? Stalker Derek. Hey, babe. She's like, hey, baby. I mean, okay. He just happens to be there for the fire station's blood drive. So yeah, you can see his little arm banded up. That ain't the only reason. Don't believe him, Ash. Cause she talking about, oh, my wounded hero. He was like, I would have did it anyway, but any excuse to come see you, baby, makes my day to see your gorgeous face. So they haven't seen each other in a couple of days. So he's been working night shifts. So she was trying to invite him to go to the movies about this romantic comedy that he claims that he doesn't love, but I'm sure he does. So she was like, it just opened, boo. So she was like, how about we go tonight? He was like, I really do wish I could, babe, but I had already made plans to get drinks with my fantasy baseball league tonight. And she was like, oh, okay, well, we'll just do it another day. He was like, okay, cool. And he was like, Ash. She's like, He was like, are we okay? Ow! It said this nigga walk in the damn court. What's the name of this damn place? The damn country club. Baby, the one who was looking at Nicole up and down, he said, Teddy dead. Oh, white pants. I mean, I could see something in the front of them white pants. I couldn't think of his name while I was talking. It was Carlton. Y'all remember that nigga Carlton. Remember at the party, when Nicole was standing there, on the phone, and he was like eyeing her up and down. Yeah, Carlton, he's real close to Teddy Ted. He said, Teddy Ted. Ow, honey. But I tell you, this show got some damn good eye candy. I'm getting thirsty. My mouth is wet. So Ted was trying to ask him about some medical conference. He was like, look, nigga, I understand all that, but what I really want to know is that have you managed to win Nicole back? And Ted with his gold chain. They got him dressed real relaxed today. He got his little army green, jacket on, his tangerine shirt on, and he got his gold chain. I'm like, man. So Ted was like, nah, man, not yet. So Carlton was like, man, if I messed up, man, as bad as you did, nigga, I would spend every waking moment trying to get her to fall in love with me over to again. So Nicole comes in the room with her titas, baby, and her cleavage is clee in the day. And he said, if I had a woman as wonderful as Nicole, shit, I wouldn't have blown it up in the first place. She hears Carlton say that shit. Don't do it, Nicole. I know the best way to get over somebody is to get under somebody else. Now, Carlton would be a good one to get under, girl, but you don't want that, girl. You don't want that. So she walks up and she says, too bad Ted ain't as smart as your fine ass. Child, we are back at Martin and Smitty's house. So Martin said, you an investigative reporter, darling. You shouldn't be wasting your time on these little puffy, little soft-ass pieces. You should tell your editor about you don't want to do no shit like that and assign that story to somebody else. And Smitty was like, nah. He was like, I'm new at this paper, and the last thing I want to damn do is to develop a reputation for being too difficult. Martin again, yeah, I understand, but this type of feature that you're going to be writing on this retired detective, honey, it's way beneath your talents. So Smitty was like, you know what, You damn right it is. I appreciate you being so supportive of my writing, darling. So we're here on the front door, and it's some dude named Zach. So he comes over there. So he was like, "Hey, Zach." And I was like, "Hey, what's going on? It's been a while. Like, who is Zach? Who that?" So Smitty was like, "Well, what you doing over here, Zach?" So he turns around and tells Martin that he needs to talk about the constituent issue with you. So Smitty was like, all right, I'll let you guys get to it. And Zach, as well as Martin, look really worried. So we'll find out what's going on. So Martin was like, what's going on? Paolo Gutierrez. That's the best I'm gonna do, y'all. He's the owner of that popular corner store in Martin's district. His store was robbed. And so, Martin was like, that's a whole family store. Who the fuck would do that? And so he was like, well, what happened? What happened to Paolo's wife and his kids when it happened? Where were they? So Zach says, nah, just Paolo. He was bruised up really, really bad. He's at Garland. Everybody goes to Garland. So he's at the hospital at Garland Memorial. So that nigga's in critical condition. They beat him up bad. So Martin was like, okay, I'll make sure I send him some flowers and reach out to the family. You need to take your ass over there, Martin. Good. He did say he's going to swing by there too. And Zach was like, yeah, I'm sure that they'll appreciate that a whole lot. So Martin was like, well, do they know who did this shit? And so they's like, yeah, they got the dude. He's in custody. So Zach was like, well, as a matter of fact, I was thinking this now, right now, will be a really good time to do a press release to reiterate your commitment to fighting crime. So Zach was like, okay, okay. So Martin, agreed. He said, of course. So they sit down and Zach tells him more about what happened. Y'all better introduce new characters at week, what? Well, episode 72. I don't know who the fuck Zach is, but now we know. So he tells him that when Paolo tried to go, when Paolo pulled the guy away when the guy tried to go to the register, and so the guy, pummeled him, like knocked his ass down and gave him fucking black eye and some broken rib. Like a whole entire block could hear Paolo screaming. And while Martin is listening, he's sitting there listening to all this shit. And then his head started to flash back about what happened that night. That night, the night that he keeps having all them nightmares and stuff he can't sleep on, fighting in his sleep. Well, something happened. I wonder is damn Marcel part of that shit. You could see Martin actually looking at something. I wonder did he see police brutality and didn't do shit about it? Because you could see him looking. Maybe he saw Marcel and he saw another cop beating somebody up and he didn't do nothing about it. Ooh. So Zach was like, nigga, Martin, snap out of it. Nigga, you all right? He looked scared as hell. Anyway, we are back at the country club, honey, with that fine Carlton standing in the middle between Ted and Nicole. So Ted was like, damn, Nicole, you look great, boo. And so she acting all cold and, well, that will be because I feel great. And Carlton was like, yeah, you sure do look fucking great. Then she talks about yesterday she did a little ceramics therapy. Y'all know what she talking about. She should have said China therapy. She said, did me a world of good. And he was like, I ain't never heard of ceramics therapy. He's like, does that involve pottery or whatever? She was like, no, suffice to say, it's very unique yet effective. So she skedaddles because she has a yoga class that she has to go to. And so she touches Carlton on the arm and says, it's always great to see you, Carlton. I was like, yes, it is. It's always great to see his sexy ass. So she walks away and damn, Carlton was like, well, man, she looks like she's doing just fine without your ass. So Ted was like, if nothing else, this whole fucking experience has taught me my wife doesn't need anything from me. So Carlton was like, any woman that's worth having doesn't really need a man as opposing to wanting a man. I agree. I agree. This nigga says the goal is to be the frosting on the cake of their lives. This cake, huh? Y'all, I'm just being bad today. Y'all excuse me. So Ted is trying to act all shady. Talking about, did you pick up that wisdom from one of those medical conferences, seminars that you went to? And Carlton was like, no, Nick. He said, that insight is on my own and offered to you free of charge, my good man. There's a whole lot more where that came from. Well, show me, Carlton. Where did it come from? He said, I will help you in whatever way I can. It's up to you, including making a play for Nicole. What? just so that you look good in comparison. Wait a minute. So he's trying to hit on Nicole. Wait a minute. So he's trying to hit on Nicole to be like an asshole so that Ted can look nice and friendly and good man so she so he can look like the asshole and Ted can look like the one that she wants to be with. And he talking about, yeah, that's the kind of friend I am, shit. So Ted was like, I know that you're trying to be amusing, nigga, but that's my wife. And it's up to me, nigga, me, to earn her forgiveness. He said, and I will. And Carlton was like, well, nigga, you better hurry the fuck up. Because as good as her ass look, she may meet a man in yoga class. End up moving that man into that beautiful ass house she used to share with your ass. Or she might meet a tall, caramel, 6'3" nigga in the lobby of the country club. I just added that in there. That nigga hit him on the shoulder like boom. You know how men do when they think that they made a point and they hit each other on the shoulder. Ooh. I can feel the tension between them. Like, ooh, see, Ted is not really doing enough. He wooed her with the flowers, but I'm like, nigga, that was what, last week? What you doing today? What you doing now? It's like, you ain't doing enough. You need to be in her face, but I understand also that he's trying to give her space. But you need to be in her face, baby. You need to be in her face. Okay, we're at Nicole's house and we see Mona. Remember, we talked about her yesterday. She's such a joy. Oh, Karen, it's her name is spelled Karan, but it's pronounced Karen. She is such a joy. I think I'm gonna maybe get into one of her classes, like virtually join one of her acting classes. But anyway, Kat comes over to the house, and so Mona is looking through all of the records and stuff. She said, "Hey, Kat, girl, your mom ain't home." So Kat was like, "Girl, that's okay because anyway, I came to talk to you." So Mona was like, "Wonderful, child. Well, give me all the tea." Kat says, "I know that you used to be good friends with Leslie Thomas." And so Mona was like, "Girl, do not remind me. It is the shame of my life for bringing that viper into your family. I kick myself every damn day for suggesting Nicole hire Eva as her assistant." Kat tells her, "Girl, do not blame yourself. Leslie and Eva are master manipulators. How could you have known that someone that you considered a friend would have an evil agenda?" Mona was like, "Girl, I was such a fool. Your parents' separation is partially on me." Kat was like, "Girl, that's on Leslie and Eva. But if you want to help, girl, I thought of a way you can be the person that gets Leslie out of our lives for good. That's you." So we back at Uptown, baby, with my boo, Marcel. He said, "From where I'm sitting, nigga, Leslie Thomas don't seem to be that threatening, in my opinion," as he sips his beer. Jacob was like, "Well, that's how that bitch is able to get away with so much shit." So Marcel was like, "Back in my younger days, when I gave a damn if the DA refused to press charges, we cops had our way of dealing with undesirables." You come, Jacob. "Look, man, I'm well aware of the bad old days, but I like to think that now things have changed since my fine ass daddy is in charge of the department." Of course, he didn't say that. I said that. And Leslie skedaddles herself real slow out that fucking restaurant with her diabolical black jumpsuit as it's swinging off the shoulders. She's throwing on her shades, baby, looking at Jacob and looking at Marcel as she walks away. "Go ahead, Les." So Marcel was like, "Well, nigga, if you don't want to bend the rules, do not complain when things don't go your way." So his phone chimes. For Jacob to be the most hardcore, by the rules type of man, cop, he has the most prettiest ringtone on his phone, so it rings. So he's told Marcel he has to step away and take the call. So he was like, "What the hell do you want from me now?" I'm like, good grief. So we get back to Derek and Ashley, and she lying in his face again. "Of course I'm okay. I mean, I gave you plans without no notice, so yeah, I'm cool." Damn. And he was like, "Well," and then she walks away. So he was like, "Well, bitch, I'm free tomorrow. Damn." She's like, "I'm supposed to get dinner with my mom tomorrow night." He was like, "Well, Then I'll reschedule. The next day, then let's do it the next day. She's like, no, I'll reschedule with mom. I'll do that. So Derek was like, I really don't want to hurt Jan's feelings. And Ashley was like, well, she'll understand. So she is their biggest fan. You know, Jan, she loves them. She says she still is a little bit confused on why they decided to live apart. It wasn't they, honey. It was your daughter. So he was like, yeah, it is weird. And also, I don't quite remember when the last time we made plans. So she was like, yeah, I guess we did get out of sync. So he was like, well, how do we get back in sync? And then the phone rings. And so she has to answer the phone at the nurse's station. So she says she has to leave and check on the patient. So they decide to have dinner with each other tomorrow night. So we see Naomi comes in 20 minutes into the show. Comes out the room. I guess that's where Bill is. And so she's like, hey, Derek. And he's looking really sad and down in the face. She was like, you all right? You cool? So we go to the country club with Eva and her pappy, Ted. So he tells her, well, he's really, really happy that at least one member of his family is willing to have food with him or a meal with him. She said, the feelings are mutual because I ain't got too many people in my corner either, but I've gotten used to it. I remember seeing her hair like this maybe a couple of months ago on IG. So I knew that she was going to change her hair. Wasn't expecting it to be like that now. So maybe about a month ago, I saw like her normal side. But when I tell you that girl loved the Lord, whoo, she get on her IG be preaching, honey. She be preaching. Like she is really solid in her stance for Christ, and I admire her about that. But she is so good. That's why she's able to tap into her emotional side because she knows how to pull from that. Now I don't know what her life is like outside of that, as far as what her experience was like as a young girl. But when I tell you that girl loves the Lord, she loves the Lord. She really does. I ain't saying that I don't, but I don't see her as being a cursor. Or, I'm a cusser. But I don't see her doing that. And she's so inspirational. They all are. They all have a gratitude day. I don't know if it's a challenge from Michelle, who's the owner or the creator of the show, but all of them, if they're on their social media, I think that she makes them get on there to at least do a gratitude video. Don't be up here with no fucking drama because we already see Maurice doing that shit. Maurice be doing the most. And is he still, I think so. Well, I think he's finally phased out. Let me know if y'all follow Maurice on social media. But at one point, even way after he had left Beyond the Gates, he was still posting their shit. I was like, Maurice, stop it. Okay, back to the show. So she tells him, yeah, I've gotten used to it, so you got a ways to go. So he was like, I was really hoping with you working at Serenity Beauty and Hair would help you make a whole lot of new friends, baby girl. So you can find a place where you belong. So you can find a place where you belong. And he was like, wait a minute, things ain't going right all over there. So she's like, look, don't get me wrong, Ted. I really appreciate how you got me that space. But she says, I have to admit, yesterday when I was helping Laura get her up to speed with the new system, she was like, it really hit me how much I really do miss working for Nicole. So she was like, that job helps her to realize what she enjoyed most about doing hair was because she had a chance to interact with clients and bringing more joy and beauty into the world. And I got to do it, in a different way. But however, with Nicole, honey, I was dealing with patient scheduling for people who were sometimes at a crisis point for themselves and their families. I got to understand how insurance plans work, and I got to talk to people who run foundations about their needs and about their concerns. Ted was like, I hear you. It's lots of variety and responsibility. I don't know why he just won't let her work for him. You run a plastic surgery. You must don't have a lot of patience right now because of what you did to Nicole. Okay, I get it. So she was like, look, I've been doing hair for a long damn time, since like high school. And I'm getting to the point where it's not cutting it for me anymore. I've been doing it. That's a long time to be in one career. Once you get your feet wet into another career, you want to try that out. And when you find out that you're damn good at it, no, it doesn't cut it for you. So he was like, wow, that was a real awful pun. She's like, well, at least it did help you forget about your worries, right? And he was like, yeah, it did. So he was like, you know what? It really helped me realize. She's like, what made you regret giving me a shot at doing what I used to love? So wait a minute. He says, no, it made me realize that we may be able to help each other. Okay, okay. So we back with Martin, and is his name Zach? I can't remember that baby name. So Martin was like, no, no, ain't nothing wrong. Because remember, he was asking him, was he all right? He's like, no, it's nothing wrong. I just been having these migraines, and fortunately, they're not bad. I just have to wait until they pass. That's all. So Martin was like, well, what happened again with Paolo's attack? He's like I said, man, it was brutal. It's like the man who beat up Paolo just lost it and just kept beating on him and beating on Paolo until he was unconscious. So they had some witnesses who saw that shit, and they said that Paolo might die. And Paolo's face is so damn swollen that it looks like he did 10 rounds in the ring. Damn. What was that about? Did all that, damn, what? Did that happen before we... Oh, I hope that he wasn't there and he watched Paolo beat the fuck up. So when Paolo's daughter called Martin's office, Zach said, well, we could barely understand her because she was crying so damn hard. Like she nearly lost her dad over a couple of $100. So Zach keeps going on and on and on, telling Martin that people would do anything for money. Then here come Martin again, going into that deep subconsciousness with that whatever happened that night, quote unquote. It looks like maybe Martin did it because it looks like we see it again and Martin is in the car. Maybe he's in the car looking at this shit happening. So he tells Zach to draw up a press release and schedule a visit to Paolo's store. So Martin was like, you know what? In fact, I just might have to make the press release or the press statement on site. So Zachary's like, okay, all right, I'll make that happen. We'll get through this. So Zach was like, it's great working for you, Martin. You are always ready to step up when people need help. And I'm like, You can tell that Martin don't believe that himself. So we're back at the country club, and Eva was like, what in the world could I possibly do to help you? So Ted says, my clinic, duh. I saw that like weeks ago when the old Ted was there. Duh. Because remember, Kat is leaving. So he was like, my clinic is really, really swamped these days. I really didn't think he was going to have a lot of women because, women, we can be something else, honey. And he's like, now that Carlton is back, it's going to get even busier. And I'm not just saying it's women who need plastic surgeries. It's everybody. But a lot of women ain't going to want your hands to touch theirs when you had the perfect marriage. And I'm like, I'm coming to you to fix myself to make sure I catch me a man, and you out here chasing. Anyway, rabbit hole. Anyway, I didn't know that him and Carlton were partners at the plastic surgery. I didn't know that. I knew that Carlton was a doctor, but I didn't know that part. Another new item. So, he breaks it down that Kat is going to be taking a leave of absence so they can focus on that first line whether she's working with Chelsea. So here come Eva. She's, I'm sure Kat's got all sorts of things she's doing that's keeping her ass away from her desk. So he says that the clinic would really fall apart without an office manager. He says Kat normally schedules their appointments. She does their billing, their marketing, their advertising. She runs the staff. She is basically a one-woman HR department, all of which you would excel at easily. So he offers her the job. How would you like to be our new office manager? Like, yeah, take it, girl, because you ain't happy at the salon or that bougie salon that Leslie says. All right, we got Andre that appears in the middle of the show. He comes off and tells Ashley at the hospital that he just finished letting the hospital board review the final cut of the documentary, those videos. And so she's happy for him. She's looking so ecstatic, girl. Ashley and this Andre shit, it just works my nerves so bad because I know he's going to hurt Danny's heart. I know he is. And she's going to hurt Derek. And then she's like, I didn't know. I didn't mean to fall in love with you. I just didn't mean to fall on that black D. So she was like, was it what we thought? Did they want to check out the footage of Leslie leaving Laura's room that night? He was like, no, it's actually better than what we thought. Actually, they are interested in the whole project. So they love this so much that they love everything. So his editing, everything is finished. So he tells her, girl, you ain't going to be worried about me bumping into you around here no more, honey. I won't be nagging you about ways to do more interviews. I'll be done, son. She's like, great. Congratulations. He was like, yeah, I'm sure Derek will be thrilled too, since he was so nervous about being on the camera. That's what Andre tells her. And she's like, and he was like, what's up? Because you could tell that she's real sour when he said his name. He's like, wait a minute, y'all. I thought y'all two were cool again. What's the tea? She's like, yeah, we're getting along, but we just really just finished having this really weird, awkward conversation. She said, I'm starting to think that our short term living together actually did some long term damage to their relationship. Okay, so I guess Naomi and Derek went from the hospital. Now they are uptown. So he was like, he says, I don't think that there's anything necessarily wrong, but things with Ashley aren't like they were before they lived together. Naomi looks a little thick today. I don't know if it's the outfit she normally wear, but her arms are out and she looks a little thick. Like, you know how we do women, ladies. You drink too much water, or when I did have a period, it all be looking all fluffy and stuff. She looks really, really thicker than normal. So Derek was like, I should have never moved in. So Naomi was like, well, since there's no going back, let's concentrate on the here and now, okay? Okay, so how is that going? So Derek was like, nothing like it used to be. So she was waiting for more. She's like, okay, Derek, I need you to work with me, all right? I need more specifics, all right? She's like, are y'all two still fighting? And he was like, nah, not really. So she's waiting for more. He's like, look, I am not trying to be vague, okay? We're not mad at each other. I don't feel like she's holding a grudge, and I know I'm not. But it's really, really, really weird. It's because she's not being honest. He wants to live in the house and have the kids. He's ready, but it's lopsided. She's clearly not being honest with him. She don't love him. She don't want him like that. So he said the best way that he can describe it is that they're being overly polite. Like we're afraid of what's really going to happen if we're not on our best behavior. So Naomi was like, do you still love her? And he's like, girl, yeah, with my whole heart. She was like, well, then that's all that matters. And he was like, girl, I wish I could believe that. That me loving Ashley enough would be more than enough to pull us through to the other side of whatever the hell this is. So Naomi was like, you know what, honey, a week ago I would have told you to try not to try so hard. Give it time. But I just came back from the hospital from visiting my dad. So Derek apologizes for his stroke. So she says, yeah, but thank God he's going to make a full recovery. So she said there were moments that she thought she might lose him, and she was kicking herself. She was kicking herself for giving him the cold shoulders like months ago. None of us know how long we have. And so Derek was like, I realized that shit when I was injured in that burning building. So Naomi was like, so, okay, all right. So how would you feel if you go with the flow and then things just happen to fall apart between you and Ashley? It ain't because y'all don't love each other, but because you're not putting in any real effort into making each other feel like appreciated. He says every time he try to do that shit, he ends up saying and doing the wrong damn thing. So Naomi was like, well, you know what? As long as what you say ends and begins with putting her first, then you'll get it right eventually. So Derek was like, are you sure about that shit? She was like, look, what I am sure of is you won't have an infinite number of chances to make things work with her. This time, my friend, your ass better get it right. Well, we are at Orphe Jeans and we see Mona sitting there and we see Leslie comes through the front door. We never saw what her and Kat talked about, so I feel like Kat is going to have Mona be a trap. Because Leslie is always around town looking for people to be on her side. The two people that she really wanted was Jan and Mona. So Mona. So Leslie says hi. She walks up to her. She was like, Mona was like, hey, yourself, girl. So Leslie was like, yeah, I was real surprised to get your text. I didn't ever think you wanted to see me again. I hope that this isn't some sort of trap. So, Mona was like, I mean, what do you mean? So Leslie's like, maybe you were in the mood to cuss someone out. And you think that I'm an easy target. So Mona actually says, girl, I'm sorry at how I lashed out at your ass before. And I was just so angry about what you did to Ted and Nicole. So Leslie was like, I know how much you care about them. So I accept your apology. Girl, Mona was like, thanks. I know she swallowed her pride. She was like, I cannot believe I had to apologize to this bitch for just making me look like the fool, bringing them into everybody's life. Ooh. So Mona was like, I know that Laura doesn't bear any grudge at all towards Eva about what happened. And Leslie talking about, oh, really? Oh, well, look at God, baby. That's very Christian of her. And Mona's looking at her like, yes. The church teaches us that everyone is worthy of forgiveness. So by rights, I should follow Laura's example. So Leslie's like, oh, so are you saying that you forgive me? So she reaches out her hand to touch it. And she's like, Mona's like drawing back. And at the same time, we see Kat entering in from the background through the front door. So Martin is over at his mammy's house. You know, his mammy is Nicole. So he comes over there and is like, how's everything's going? So she was like, that is such a sweet and really kind way of you asking me how I'm doing since your father's moved out, you know? So he was like, what is the answer, Mom, to the question that I clearly skirted around? And I forgot to mention that right before he said that, he ran into the house and get some water because, you know, he's still kind of parched from now all those visions and prophecies he's been seeing in his mind. So she answers the question. She's like, well, I'm doing pretty well. Thanks. Although our family will be without its anchor for a little while. He's like, why? What happened? What? She's like, oh, no, it ain't that serious, honey. It's just that your grandmother is going to be out of town for a few weeks. She went off to Chicago to rehearse for an Articulates reunion concert. So Mark was like, I knew that she was trying to get back to her musical roots, but honey, I didn't realize that things had progressed that far. So Nicole's like, me neither, child. She feels like she has to handle like some unfinished business or something. And I love that she's just not aware of it, but she's actually doing something about that shit. So Martin says, revisiting her past must be real emotional for her. Sounds like you have a testimony about that, Martin. I said the same thing. Nicole was like, it is. It sounds like it is for you too. See, I be knowing what these people gonna say before they say it. I just don't know the plots. But I can flow really good when it comes to the conversation and the dialogue in each of these scenes. I almost can guarantee that I can get the next sentence right before I push play. And that's what I did. And of course, Martin skirts it again. He told me, I can assure you, Mom, that I ain't planning on doing no singing. Speeches are more my speed. However, something is definitely troubling me. And I could definitely use some advice from my favorite psychiatrist. She was like, baby boy, you know I cannot treat a family member. So he was like, okay, well, let me rephrase. Lord have mercy. He said, I need some advice from my mammy. So we're back at the country club with Eva and Ted. So she was like, you know, I'm flattered that you would hire me. And he was like, I admire your work ethic. And she was like, you know, I told you that before. She said, yeah, you did. And so did Nicole when I was working with her as well. So she was like, I abused that position and it wound up wrecking your marriage. And he was like, girl, I know that I was there. But she was like, but how, after all of that shit that I did, can you even think about trusting me working with you again? So he was like, look, girl, believe me, I know how your mother is. She knows how to manipulate you and pressure people into doing things that they would have never otherwise considered. She tells her that he knows exactly who to blame for what's happening, and it's not her. So she was like, you don't have to do this. There's no way on God's great earth that you would even hire me if I was some random person walking up the street who submitted her severely lacking resume. Girl, you got experience. He said, well, since I'm the boss, honey, I can say who I will hire. And he said, the same thing like how I did hire Kat, I'm hiring you. So she was like, well, Kat has a college degree and probably all sorts of relevant experience compared to me. She says, I remember you and Nicole mentioning something like this before, but y'all said that I had to learn billing and coding and all of that shit first. He's like, my offer still stands to send you off to get you trained to be a medical office assistant. But hell, Kat wasn't even certified and that didn't slow her ass down. She's like I said, I'm not Kat. I don't have her credentials. He's like, that's right. You're damn right. You got your own. Intelligence, determination, resilience. Now, those skills I just named off to you don't qualify on a resume, but they are exactly what this job requires. He was like, it called me crazy, all right? But I do want one of my daughters to be working with me in the office. It is a family business after all. Okay, look, this is what we'll do. We'll start on a trial basis just to make sure that it's a good fit, all right? We'll do that. But I am confident that you will be damn great. He said, although I must warn you that I'm a little bit tougher boss than Nicole is. So she says Nicole wasn't tough at all. She was a dream. He was like, okay, well, damn, so I guess I have a lot to live up to. He was like, so now, does that alleviate and get rid of any of your doubts about taking this job, girl? So, of course, the obvious, she was like, how is Kat going to feel about her replacing her in the position? Kat, Kat, go ahead and market purses, girl. You can't be everywhere and be a detective. You can't do all that, girl. So we're back at Orphe Jeans, and so Kat, I tell you, Kat just does not know how to plan. So we see Mona and Leslie at the table. So Leslie turns and she sees Kat sitting over at a booth. She was like, okay, I don't like this shit. So Mona kind of brings Leslie's attention back to her. She's like, look, girl, I am not saying that I have forgiven you. Not yet. So Leslie's like, but girl, hey, girl, I'm just grateful that you're open for the possibility. So Mona was like, girl, enough time has gone by for me to, sorry, calm the hell down and to be open to hearing you out. That's all. And just try to understand your point of view. So Leslie with her sad face, Mona, that's all I ask. So Mona was like, I've attempted to put myself into your shoes. I mean, considered how I'd feel if the man I loved abandoned me while I was pregnant. And Leslie was like, girl, it was devastating. And I did the best I could to build a new life. But I never got over Ted. And then when my husband Alan died, something snapped. No, you killed Alan because you never got over Ted. You just said that shit. You never got over Ted. This whole time, plus 20 plus years, you never got over him. And you killed Alan because he wasn't fucking Ted. That's why that man is dead. So there's some nice Krispy Kreme looking donuts on the damn table. So Mona was like, girl, let's talk over some donuts, honey. And so Leslie was like, oh my God, my favorite. So remember, Jacob was like, what the hell do you want now? That was Kat calling him. So he comes, sits down at the table with Kat. He was like, I should have known that when you said that you wanted to talk about the case so that you could have closure, I should have known that was a damn lie. So she was like, Kat was like, I was just being completely sincere. He said, oh, so you're telling me that it's a coincidence that Leslie is sitting over there talking with your mother's household chief of staff? That's just a coincidence? And so Kat was like, I was nowhere near the diner when I called you. Jacob was like, try that innocent act shit on somebody who don't know you. He was like, I know you don't want to hear it, but you and Leslie, baby, y'all got a whole lot in common. So we're back at Uptown with Naomi and Derek. He's like, look, I don't have no regrets when it comes to Ashley, but right now I have no damn idea how to make things right between us. I really don't. It's not like we're hurting. It's not like we have anything to apologize to one another for. But it's more like our relationship is like a car. It drives okay, but it keeps making like some weird noise. So she's at the hospital talking to Andre about it. She was like, without a diagnosis of knowing what's the matter between me and Derek, and like, how in the fuck do you find a cure? So they're both talking to other people about their relationship. We know that she loves Andre. She's not being honest. It's on her. It ain't got nothing to do with Derek. It's on her. So she was like, how can you fix something that doesn't seem to be broken? So Andre was like, it's not that you don't know what to do. Or is it that you're afraid of the consequences if you do it? So Naomi is telling Derek at the same time that taking no actions in the relationship than making, is worse than making the wrong move in your relationship. Just like how she should be telling that to Ted. Like, doing nothing can be definitely worse than you at least trying to do something. And even if it's the wrong move, at least you tried. So she's telling Derek the same thing. So she was like, take your example. Like, what if that car that you're driving that you talked about your relationship is actually the brakes going wrong, and as a result you and Ashley end up driving into a ditch? So he was like, well, I can't let that shit happen, so I guess what I need to be doing is trying to figure out how to get us out of neutral. Damn, he says he just don't know what drive mode is supposed to look like now. I'm like, damn, I mean, him moving in there really did that much damage? It can, though. It can. I guess every time, well, on episode number 1, every time we saw them, they was in the bed together, but he left. But he should have known her living habits just a little bit. But did he ever spend the night? I don't even remember. I just think that it's weird how their relationship is going right now, and they agree clearly. So Naomi was like, well, what does that look like? So they transitioned back to Ashley. She was like, well, there are some things about Derek that I wish that were different, but I'm sure he feels the same damn way about me. But she's scared to let Derek know that things need to change. She's scared of letting him know that he might take that as her criticizing him instead of just suggesting. And they're going to have all these hurt feelings and misunderstandings, and we're going to get into a big argument. It's like, why you both are seeing negative? You don't want to be honest with each other about the changes that you both need to make because you're afraid of what's going to happen, but you haven't even tried. So Andre was like, what the fuck do you want? And so she was like, for us to be as happy as we were before. Well, that's not going to happen because y'all live together. You know how nasty and manly he is. So he agrees while he's telling Naomi. He was like, because he cannot live without Ashley being in his life. We have to get back to the phase and the stages where we were before. That ain't happening because she don't like you leaving a wet towel on the bed. She'll never forget that. So no, she's not going to go back to that phase. Anyway, we're back in Nicole talking with her baby boy, Martin. So he was like, thanks, Mom, for being willing to have this conversation with me. So he was like, just having this discussion in a professional setting, even when it's just a mom and son talk. And so she was like, baby boy, you are worrying me, baby. So what's the problem? What's the problem that you need to discuss? So he was like, he's not sure. He's been having these recurring nightmares. And so she was like, well, can you remember them? He was like, they're hard to describe. He says he remembers flashing lights, loud noises, someone screaming and yelling. And, oh, yeah, yeah. He said for a little while the dreams have stopped, but, after a while. But now they keep coming back now more often. And I don't like that shit. He was like, it even happened today, like in the middle of a conversation. I was talking to somebody and it was like I was having a hallucination instead of a dream. Ooh, child, that baby. That baby said he's beginning to feel like he's about to lose his mind. Up in here, up no. So we're back at Orphe Jeans, and so Kat tells Jacob, "Oh, you comparing me to Satan in a wig?" Leslie does not wear, well, she wears them when she's trying to be diabolical because her hair is gorgeous. But she was like, comparing me to Satan in a wig? Nice one, Jacob. She said, however, if you're telling me that I'm willing to do whatever it takes to accomplish my goals, then yes, I guess we are a little bit alike. But that bitch over there, she went after my damn family and she used her daughter to do that shit. I never trusted Eva from day one, and I was damn right. And if anyone had believed me, then we wouldn't be in this situation today. But unlike Leslie, my heart is in the right place. So Jacob was like, well, prove it then. Tell me the real reason. I cannot do my R's, y'all. Tell me the real reason why you wanted to meet me here. Because just like your ass, I am tired of watching Leslie walk around here like she's fucking untouchable. She says, patience, my dear detective, patience. All will become clear. Oh, I see what she's trying to do. She's using Mona to get that Dinah DNA. So they're eating, and so Mona and her are chewing the donuts, and so Mona was like, "Oh, girl, there's something in your face. Oh, let me get it for you. Let me wipe that." So she was going to get a mirror. She's like, "Oh, girl, you don't need a mirror. Ain't nothing on her mouth. She just wipe the right side of your mouth, girl." So she did have something on her mouth. She, right there. Yeah. Oh, girl, good looking out, girl. Oh, anytime. That's what Mona said. So she said, girl, I can understand why you even wanted to tell Ted about Eva. I can understand. Because, child, if I were in your shoes, I would want my child to have a relationship with her daddy, too. So Les was like, girl, I understood. I knew that if you really thought about it, that you would understand why I did what I had to do. It was the only way for me to make sure that Ted would actually acknowledge that Eva was his daughter. Mona was like, I could understand. And so Leslie's like, so that I was right? So Mona was like, girl, that what you did was totally fucked up. Girl, you could have told his ass in private. He's a good man. He would have believed you. And even if you felt like you needed to get a little revenge against him, girl, there was no need to humiliate Nicole at her own anniversary party. She never did a thing to you. but you took delight in her pain. That's the part, honey, I just can't get past. So, try as I might, baby, I do not forgive you. I don't think I ever will. So, honey, we are back with Martin and Nicole. So she asks him, does he think that the hallucinations and nightmares are part of like a real life experience that he's had? Okay, let's see what he's going to say. Did you go through something traumatic that your mama don't know about, boy? He was like, I don't know why I'm having them or what caused them. The only thing I know is that I need them to stop. So she says she's wondering if what's going on between her and Ted is like at the root of it. Maybe that it caused some type of stress in him. He was like, no, mama, that ain't the reason. She was like, well, you're not going through anything else. He confirms that all those nightmares started way before this Leslie mess came out. She's like, damn, it's been that long? He said, well, the only thing that's been stressing me is things at work lately, and coupled with raising two, grown ass teenagers. So she was like, well, nothing's different at work or with the kids, is it? I mean, like, how are these nightmares making you feel? He says when he's in them, he feels afraid, but when he comes out of it, somehow he feels guilty. So she was like, any sense of what's triggering them? And he was like, no. He was like, he started breathing all fucking hard. She's like, sweetheart, I think you need to speak to a therapist. So she was like, you need to speak to a therapist other than your mammy. So I'm going to send you a list of people that I know that could help you. Just make sure that you make this appointment, all right? And promise me you're going to do that. That was nice that he was able to unload on her. So he said, sure, he'll call them. And he said, thanks for listening. But I think that she still did not take her off her therapist hat. She kept it on. I'm like, girl, what's wrong with my baby? Hug him. Let him get it out. It's like she didn't do none of that. She just let him talk. Like, maybe if my son sat across from me and told me that he feels like he was about to lose his mind, I'd be like, what? Wait a minute. Are you on drugs? Did something happen? Are you and Smitty okay? It's like, I think that she could have handled that a whole lot better. It was just too smooth for me. It didn't work for me. I didn't like that scene. I mean, I guess with what she's going through, she still is trying to go through her pain, with the rejection with her husband and the lies and stuff. So I get that. But you have your son sitting right here letting you know that he's feeling like his mind is cracking up on him. And he's been suffering from this for a long time. And you're like, go see another therapist. It's like, I don't know about that, y'all. Y'all tell me what y'all thoughts are. Anyway, we're back at the country club. And Ted is telling Eva, like, look, Kat knew someone would be taking over her position eventually. So Ted was like, Kat's just going to have to get over it because she knew that he was going to get somebody anyway. And I picked who the fuck I wanted to pick. So Eva was like, well, doesn't she have to train somebody? And she ain't going to want to sit with me long enough to train me nothing. So he was like, Kat's going to have to understand that she's going to have to work with you for a little while. And maybe eventually y'all will get closer. So Eva was like, I enjoy your optimism, but that's not going to happen, honey. It's like, not because I don't want it to, but that girl hates me. So he says that the clinic uses the same software that Nicole uses, and he feels that she'll be able to figure that shit out without Kat's help, which is good. So Eva was like, I feel like she's going to be really, really pissed, like really, 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 really pissed. He was like, look, she got her own feelings that she needs to deal with. And no matter what, like right now, she has her own company and I need some help and I'm hiring who I want to hire. So he was like, look, she's going to be busy then to give us grief about what we're choosing to do. So we see Carlton walk in. So Ted actually introduces Eva to Carlton. Who is also going to be our brand new office manager, Eva, aka my daughter. So he says, well, hello, Eva, welcome to the team. And so Ted was like, I assume that you can start right away, right? So she was like, look, I just have not quite accepted the offer. He's like, oh, so you're going to be like a stickler like this at the office? I got you. I mean, I understand. She's like, oh, you have no idea what you're in for, honey, because I run a tight ship. And he was like, I'm counting on that. So Carlton was like, well, that's what we all need. Someone to keep us in line. I could keep you in line, baby, and tie you up with a rope. So she said she'd be honored to work for Ted. And then she looked at them, well, for both of you. So we see Martin actually coming into the country club. I guess he's getting ready to work out because he has his gym bag. And that white dude waiter was talking to a customer. Then he see Martin come in there. And he stops talking to the lady and started chasing after Martin. He's a weirdo. So baby, we are back at Orphe Jean's. And so Leslie tells Mona, I just didn't look up to you, Mona. I admired you deep down. I thought that you, honey, you were a better human being than me. But luring me here, girl, well, we've had so many happy times, making me think that we could be friends again, only to hurt me like this. And that's just cruel. You are every bit as mean as you accuse me of being. So Leslie got up and walked out, honey, and left that tissue right there on the table. So Kat comes over at the table. You see Jacob looking. So Mona was like, child, I kept that up as long as I could, honey. Shit. So she takes the tissue back to Jacob's, where he was sitting at in the booth. And so he was like, Kat, are you serious? Are you serious, child? And she broke the rules down to him. She said, this is a public place. There is no rules to taking a used napkin, and the chain of custody is clear. Go ahead, break it down to his ass, girl. So she was like, it is a poison apple? He says, fruit of the poisonous tree. And Kat was like, whatever. So she's taking the napkin, baby, and she's putting it in a Ziploc bag. And she was like, Jacob, Leslie's DNA has got to be all over this damn napkin. So he puts two and two together. If the DNA matches on the napkin, matches the same that's in the helmet, and then if that's the one that she wore the night that she hit Laura, then it will be a match. Then they got her. So he was like, if it's a match, then he'll finally have enough grounds to arrest her old crazy ass. What a great episode. And y'all really already know why, baby. Because Marcel was back. Yes. Long episodes. But it was great. And I really enjoyed it. Of course, that fine ass Carlton, honey. Finally, I'm like, I must be speaking stuff into existence. I need to go ahead and get my $1 million, So hopefully you guys enjoyed today's episode. Derek and Ashley just got on my nerves. That's why I probably didn't really do a lot of exciting voices for them, because they both are getting on my fucking nerves because they don't know. He don't know. He really doesn't know what she wants because she's not being honest with him. And if she just be honest with him, like, baby, she doesn't want to hurt his feelings. So she's like, now that I live with you, I don't even like you. Like, and then if she lives with Andre, because she probably think that the grass is greener on the other side, but what she don't know how much shit it takes to get that green grass. You got to go through a lot of shit. And she don't understand that. So what if her and Andre lives together? She has the same thing. Girl, you're the common denominator. It's going to be your ass. You're the one that has the problem. It ain't the men, it's you. Okay, I'm tired of her confusing ass. I ain't never seen nobody who has a good man. He pretty solid. He might not be the best, but he's pretty solid. But, you're fiending for somebody. Well, I do know somebody who was like that. Won't spill that tea. But, that's what happens sometimes. I get it, and you don't want to hurt their feelings. I get it. But, girl, you're really staring that dude on. Go ahead and let him go so Shanice can have him and work on his back, baby. Since she's a physical therapist. This was a good week. This week was really good. We got one more day. Hopefully we can go to Chicago and see how Anita and the girls are doing, if they even getting along. I still don't trust Sharon. Remember, Sharon wanted to use this whole situation. I still don't trust her. I don't. She's good, and I can't wait to hear them sing, but I don't trust Sharon. I really, really don't. And hopefully they will recruit some people to come to their concert. If y'all need some extras to come to the concert, be fans of the Articulates, I'm down. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good one, and I will see y'all in the next video. Bye.